Okay, well, this morning we have Robin Grable, and she's the presenter this morning. And she's actually, she has a company called Veterans Ascent. It's a platform for veterans to actually readjust to the life here to maybe get a job or a position with some company. So, Robin, please come here and let's give her a couple of applause, please.
All right, good morning. Well, thank you for having me here today. Oh, I lit it up. Oh, let's go back to get to the beginning here. There we go. So I am Robin Grable, the creator of Veterans Ascend. At Veterans Ascend, we're breaking employment barriers by changing the way employers find and hire great talent. Our ask today is connections with employers that have at least 10 employees, and we really need to connect with the C-suite level, the CFOs, the CEOs, owners or founders of those companies, because we're so different, we need to help them understand how we can save them time and money. I did serve in the United States Navy for 9 years. I'm very proud of that. When I transitioned out, the resume writer told me, "You're a female, you can get a job as an administrative assistant because no one will understand what you did in the military." It planted a seed, which started my journey. I started over. I had to start over. And fast forward 22 years while working for a major corporation doing the exact same job I was doing when I got out of the Navy. And while finishing my master's, I met an Army veteran's wife who said her husband had been out of the Army for about 6 months. He couldn't find a job. He was getting depressed, feeling worthless, and she couldn't help him. That really was the catalyst for me to create what I've done today, because I just said that just can't happen. There's something wrong with that, and what happened to me serving our country. There had to be a better way to connect our skills with employers. So really the problem is the skills translation gap, and the skills translation of the military experience and the industry of the military to the civilian job responsibilities. We use infantry as a perfect example because when you think of infantry, you think of security guards, police officers. What other skills do they have? In fact, many of the infantrymen I've met have said, "I don't have any other skills." Very sad. But if you look at this list and you look at the job description for an infantry person, these are the skills they learn in addition to security. So risk management, situational awareness, equipment maintenance. These are skills that an infantry person learns as part of their job in the military that can be taken to other services. And there are plenty of skills translators on the market today, but what happens is they actually only translate the title of the job and the occupation of the military to a list of civilian jobs. They don't take into account the actual skills that go into that job and how that veteran can take those skills to another occupation, another industry. And they still require the veteran to apply for those jobs online. So what's the problem with that? 95% of veterans will get filtered out when applying for jobs online, and even if they do get through to a human being, less than half of 1% of HR managers have any military knowledge to help them understand how that veteran's skills fit into their organization. So even if an infantry person's resume does get through to a human being, they see infantry, I don't need a security guard in my company, I'm not looking for police officers, what do I do with this person? The result, no interview. Military spouses also face employment barriers. Male or female, they'll move across state lines 10 times more frequently and start over nearly each time. The unemployment rate for military spouses is 3 to 4 times higher, and they will tend to earn 38% less than their civilian peers because they're underemployed, because they can't find employment, because people will make assumptions, you're only going to be here for a year or 2 years, etc. I can't make the investment in you. With the need or desire for dual income families, 43% of military spouses will say that employment opportunities are a major factor in determining whether they'll stay in the military or get out. And when you think about this in the context of our national security, our all voluntary force is already only 1% of our population. Nearly half of them will decide to stay or get out because their spouse for employment opportunities. So think about what that would mean to national security, and also think about how much smoother that service member's transition out of serving our country would go if their spouse already has lucrative and stable employment. So we took all of those barriers, and with my 30 years of HR, I've spent the last 5 years studying the barriers for veterans and employers. We started from scratch. We built a skills translation engine that uses unique data sets and algorithms to translate military occupations into skills and then match employers to the veterans. Our service does not use a resume and does not require the veteran to apply for jobs. Instead, our technology searches through and evaluates thousands of skills profiles against the employer's skills needs and aligns those skills and cuts through all of that unqualified noise. We know HR is busy. It's not, recruiting and hiring are not the only things on their plate, and every business needs to be able to make hiring decisions more effectively and more quickly. So we've cut through all of that and made it easy for employers to find skilled talent and for employees to take their skills to a different industry, not only veterans, but first responders and military spouses as well. And we save employers time, we decrease time to hire, we improve retention, and we save them thousands of dollars on recruiting costs, lost productivity, and turnover. So for us, it's all about skills and putting the right person in the right job and making sure that they're successful in those jobs and helping them take their skills to a new industry and helping them be successful in those areas. We know employers are struggling to find great talent, and we know veterans and military spouses are underemployed. Veterans Ascend is here to change that. Again, we want connections to employers who have around at least 10 employees and that C-level suite. So any connections you can make for us will make a difference and would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
At this time, we open the room for